I really.
Yeah, well, I noticed it, so might as well, right?
Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about one pedal driving. What is it? What is exactly one pedal driving? You see, the nicest part about the one pedal driving is the ability to just drive and not have to worry about, well, braking constantly. It's an amazing feature to have. The thing about one pedal driving is it gives you the ability to just relax when you're driving. But it is an art. It is something that you do have to understand. But this is nothing new. It's been around for ages. For gas cars, it's always been called engine braking. Nothing new. Something that has constantly been, well, used by any professional driver, any amateur driver, and a lot of times people don't even realize they're doing it. When it comes to EVs, the one pedal driving has big benefits. It works to help you keep your car regenerating, keep your battery charged a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. The most amazing part to me is when it comes to just general driving, most of the people don't typically know how to drive. In fact, you learn this interesting way of driving, but you're not really learning to drive. Here's how this works. A lot of people, when they are young, they go out, they get their licenses, and that's pretty much where everything ends. They go out, they do their schooling, and once they have their license, they stop learning. They stop understanding what is happening with their vehicles. This is a big issue overall when it comes to vehicles and when it comes to the drivers of today. It is one of the reasons that you see so many videos of people just being silly on the roads, almost idiotic to a certain degree. So what does one pedal driving have to do with all this? Essentially, one pedal driving is a very key part of your, well, driving aspects, of your driving abilities. And if you don't learn how to do it properly, you're basically doing what all the bad drivers out there are doing, which is, well, you're getting lost. You're lost in a forest. That's the best way to put it. Understanding one pedal driving comes down to the very basics. Essentially, it's a very simple little process. You let off your accelerator, the vehicle slows down. In a gas powered car, this is very simple. This is very easy because, well, there's an engine braking involved in it. But the engine braking has never been something that I've utilized to its maximum capabilities. Well, then again, engine braking is dependent very much on the engine size, the gearing, what kind of car you have, and on and on and on. One of the greatest things about Teslas is, well, you can actually adjust that. You can adjust if you want just a basic, I guess, regenerative braking, or if you want something more complex. Now, if you leave it your settings on standard, one of the greatest things I've noticed is over the past 2 years, I've learned how to drive this car in a way that my brakes are essentially not used, except for maybe the last, well, 2 feet. And that is for no other reason than to really just stop. That's just to bring the car to a full stop. So how does regenerative braking work? Basically, all it is just a generator to put power back into your battery. Simply put, it is the reverse of what's happening when you're accelerating your vehicle. That's really what it is when it comes to your EVs. This is a huge benefit. This is one of those great little things where you don't have to kill your pads, you don't have to worry about your brake.
Watching your video right now.
I really.
Yeah, well, I noticed it, so might as well, right?
And it does definitely help you out with regards to slowing down. Now, to what degree? That depends greatly on you. It depends on how much you're willing to learn, how much you're willing to understand. It is up to you. It is up to you to understand how regen works at different speeds and what power you get out of that regenerative braking. And when I say power, I'm talking about power as in the power, the strength of your braking. You have to understand that if you're doing, let's say, 100 kilometers, or if you're doing 30 kilometers, there's a different amount of, well, power being applied to the regen braking. In other words, the reversal of the motor. So what are some of the key little things that I can tell you guys about regenerative braking and how you're going to use it? First, again, like I said, understanding distance. If you understand distance and you understand how, well, you practice long enough, and it takes a little bit of practice, that's not something that anybody can deny. But if you understand how to brake at a certain speed, then you will have absolutely no problem. One of the key things that I see a lot of people make mistakes with is the way that they're approaching their driving. And most people, they're very jerky drivers. And all that has to do with gas or EV, it doesn't really matter. All that has to do with is how well you pay attention to what's ahead of you. If you slow down in time, you let your engine do the braking if you're driving an ICE car, or if you're doing, well, if you're driving a Tesla or any EV, all you got to do is slow down in time. Understanding how much power, how much braking power you have at what speed, in accordance to the distance that you have something going on. Now, in some rare cases, obviously, regen is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. And that is usually when the light kind of changes at the last possible second, then you're kind of in trouble. That's just, well, you have to use your brake. But that's why the brake is there, because, well, frankly, that's the whole purpose of a brake. It is to slow you down. So understand your braking. Everything comes down to your willingness to learn. One of the worst possible things you can do is become very complacent. Now, with these cars, they change all the time. They give you a different mentality of how to drive. And because they're consistently changing, there's updates. It may change the dynamics of the car. It is truly up to you to understand what the car is doing at any given time. If you practice it and you go out there and you really take your time and you give it a little bit of an experiment, it doesn't take long before you figure out this just works, and it works to your benefit. You're not using your brakes. In fact, my brakes on that car, I rarely ever use it. You know how I know that? Because at this point, it is starting to actually rust up. It is starting to literally just, it's no longer shiny. And so what do I have to do? I have to go out there and just kind of burn everything off. So I come up to a higher speed, I slow the car down really quick, slam on the brakes, and just burn off everything from the pads, burn off everything from the rotors. But this is also a really good thing, because if that happens, you're also fully aware that you're using the brake to the most minimalistic, well, possible wear and tear, I guess. I don't even know how to say that. But that's the point. Understand your car. Understand what your car is doing. Understand what your car is trying to do. But most importantly, practice. If you practice long enough, I promise you, you're going to get to the point where you're not only going to regenerate power, but you're also going to be able to save a lot more of your brakes. You'll be able to work with having a wonderful, smooth braking distance. You'll never be jerky on your brakes, and ultimately it is for the benefit of you. Whenever you're going to have people in a car, they are going to be absolutely shocked at how smooth the car is, I should say. And the smoothness of the car severely depends always on the braking and the acceleration. When it comes to acceleration, there is a cool little mode, obviously, in the car, and that's called chill mode. So you don't have to take off like a total douche, but at the same time, if you want to have fun, you can always do that. But when it comes to stopping, coming to that beautiful smooth stop, a buttery smooth stop, well, regen can definitely help you do that. Let me end this video by saying, it doesn't matter if I'm talking about regenerative braking, doesn't matter if I'm talking about just driving in general. Learning how to drive these cars is a art. It is up to you to do the best you can to learn what your car is capable of doing. Don't take anything for granted, and never ever become complacent. It is up to you to be the best driver you possibly can be. These cars help you a great deal, but ultimately you have to want to learn. All right, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see some more. And the good news is I got some awesome content coming out. There are going to be some 7-day challenges, which I'm trying to, well, let's just say not everything when it comes to Tesla is easy, but I decided to make a challenge to myself for 7 days. So look forward to some future videos on that, and that's it. Hopefully those are going to be nice and informative for you. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Don't forget to drive safe, stay safe. Goodbye, everyone.